What is this trial about? What does Kazuma want to prove? Does he want to prove that Barok killed Gregson? Or does he want to prove that Barok is the mastermind behind the Reaper thing? Because if he's saying that Barok killed Gregson, then this is obviously incorrect now, right? Because of evidence. Because Gregson went to SS Grouse, and Kazuma also admitted that he thinks that. But Barok went to a gentleman's club called the Grouse, and there are eyewitnesses to it, right?
Hold it!
And you're saying that the mark listed was Seishiro Jigoku? That's what I said. Funny name if you ask me. And I thought your name was odd. Yeah, my name is Odo. So pleased to have lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago, studying international law and diplomacy while under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart. That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. Oh, he had a beard back then too? So Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now. 10 years ago? After that fateful case? Precisely. In the aftermath of the professor case, his repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook. I didn't think it was possible, but the mood in here's got even worse now. Maybe I just keep talking. Gregson was just investigating the Reaper.
Hold it!
So you have complete faith that Inspector Gregson is innocent in all of this? Of course I do. I mean, I owe him that, don't I? Because he's the only one what had faith in me. Yeah, I mean, Gina was also acquitted. Is Kazuma saying that Gregson... That Gregson wanted to kill Gina? Gina? The boss promised me he did. He promised me that even though I was just a diver, he could turn me into a top-notch detective. A cove with a good heart like that ain't gonna go and rob people of their futures, is he? Every single person killed by the Reaper was a criminal of the first order. Lowlifes like that have no compunction about robbing hundreds of others of their future. Eh? Their ludicrous acquittals in court give them the freedom to make hundreds more suffer. I don't. So what? You justified your actions because you were protecting innocent people's futures? I'm not suggesting that the Reaper's methods are justified at all, but life isn't black and white, that's all I'm saying. So that's what we have to work with. It may help us that Lord Van Zieks is in the stand too. Yes, perhaps. I'm sure Gina knows nothing she hasn't already told us. There's no point trying to get more out of her. Did you notice how Kazuma-sama reacted to Lord Van Zieks' words? When he called him an even more sinister Reaper, you mean? Well, I'm sure Kazuma intends to eliminate any shred of doubt that the man is guilty. He's looking for revenge against the person he considers to be his father's killer after all. I do worry that if we fail to find a discrepancy in this testimony somewhere, that trial may end and adjudication won't go in our favor. let's listen carefully again.
Hold it!
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as the Reaper. Not you and all! That ain't the only explanation, is it? He could have been investigating the Reaper in secret. That notebook said what he found it. And that notebook said what he found out. If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper. One arm? What are you on about? The Reaper's victims were all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization. With you at its head? I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. So I'd been able to check the most recent entry in his book. I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone. So that explains why several members of the club claimed to have seen you there. But of course, the inspector was not there. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, back to your testimony about the contents of this notebook. Fine. Wait, that conclusively proves that he did not kill Gregson. Isn't this what this trial is about? What is happening? Did the prosecution just change the premise of the trial? Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, there is. You seemed a little shocked. No, I'm angry. Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I? What? What? What was that all about? I was shocked. Runo, what are you trying to tell me? The passport is a clue?
Hold it!
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff? What in particular? Oh well, beside the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up. What other name was that? It's the one I told you yesterday, the same name, written over and over again. Shin. You mean Asa Shin? Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours at Summit, isn't she? A friend of mine? No? Were you even listening yesterday? Asa Shin, the assassin. What? Like a killer, you mean? Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable and who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed start to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Then perhaps what it said on the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seishiro Jigoku's life? Gina, can you confirm that against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seishiro Jigoku? Why did my slap not work? What name was written? Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it as it happens. What? It just had like a question mark or something there, I think. In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in that case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not? Oh, how infuriating. A nameless assassin? Objection! Right, I've had just about enough of this. Gina, you can't just yell objection. All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people, it's cobblers. Come on, Otto. Yes? Glare. Why ain't you saying nothing? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something? What? You've got to find a flaw. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss. Oh, Gina. That outburst was an insult to the court and to your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. What? No. Is that clear? That's evil. What are you doing? Oh my god, she just lost Gregson, her mentor, and now she's lost her new life? Where she can find happiness at last? You want to take this from her? I've had it with a lot of ya. It lies every bleeding place you're like in the word, innit? Well, I've had enough. Gina. So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I've made up my mind. To do what, Mr. Naruhodo? Do you want to quit as well? There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was said just didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd. Oh, do you mean? I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears. But I cannot prove that Gregson wasn't the Reaper, part of the Reaper, right? All the evidence points to that fact. Come on, Otto, help! You've got to find a flaw somewhere. Holy crap. Holy crap. Help. Hold it! I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve. What are you talking about? Eh? What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency? Really, Otto? I don't quite know what it means yet, but... Yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... What? What? Who said it? I don't know. I don't remember. Susato-san, do you remember? Wait, when did Susato-san... When did I gasp out loud? When did I think Kazuma. Yeah, Kazuma said something passport, right? Kazuma?
Take that!
By you, Kazuma Azuki. Okay. Me? I don't know what's happening. Is there some attempt at filibustering, Counsel? Prosecutor Azuki has given no testimony. What are you suggesting? I said that was inconsistent. You let something slip that you shouldn't have. What? When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you realize what you've done. What? Very well then, Counsel, go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency? The passport? One additional person. The passport?
Take that!
Oops, that was wrong. So, my initial impressions were correct. This is nonsense. You accuse your best friend and back it up with that? Clearly. The Ryunosuke Naruhodo I knew is dead. Ouch! Kazuma, what are you doing? Oh my, this hurts so much. This hurts more than the penalty point. Struck down by my best friend. I believe what you intended to point out, Mr. Naruhodo, was when Kazuma said... Thank you, Susato. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. Yeah? As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Yeah? What's the problem? What's the problem? Destination Port of Dunkirk, France. Right? That's all. Yes. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France. Yeah. As shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Yeah? What? Yes, that's exactly it. Okay. I take it from your expression that you're not going to let this go. Correct, my lord. I made a mistake, that's all. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence. What? Very well. This time, do present the correct one. I don't get it. Why did I check these already? Have you seen this huge gash? It's gone right through the leather into the metal. Whatever made the gash must have struck the side of the trunk with considerable force. How did it happen? The dark stain. Yes, it's blood. So this means that this was present at the scene when Inspector Gregson was killed. It's the most logical conclusion, yes. Yeah? That doesn't contradict at all with what Kazuma is saying. Yeah, it's a passport. Yeah, we've seen this already. I'm not sure why the game didn't mark this as red. Probably it's because we've read this in the previous chapter. And this is a new chapter, so the game doesn't track what I've read between chapters. This is really weird, splitting up one case across multiple chapters. I don't find anything here. I don't get it. Kazuma said, blah 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 blah, the passport in the victim's metal trunk. It's not a passport, so it must be the metal trunk. Yeah, obviously Gregson was traveling with the metal trunk, right? Not sure why this is a contradiction, but this is the only other item I can present, right? Right?
Take that!
This is a trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A blood stain, and a relatively fresh one too. What? You mean that 8 degrees from all the boss's fish and chips? Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of any trunk in Scotland Yard's report. What? What? Yeah, so they missed the trunks in the report, okay. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it. Oh, okay, yeah. Strongheart meant when and where the body was found. His body was found on Fresno Street. But I found it. Me, with me nose for trouble. Huh. Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about somebody who was present when the victim was killed. You have a witness, Kazuma? And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport?
Objection!
But you said it was metal. Yeah. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On 31st of October, where exactly were you? I don't think he was with Gregson. What the heck? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. What? Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Oh, okay. He was not on there, right? Kazuma, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was there on the ship, then it can only have been for one purpose. Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think... Come on, Ryunosuke, you know the rules. The only thing that really talks in the courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it beyond all reasonable doubt? That you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector? He was there, with Gregson. There's a clue that you've overlooked, a secret that Trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point, and I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where in the trunk this alleged clue is to be found. Where is the evidence that ties Prosecutor Azuki to Inspector Gregson? This gash? Could it be from his katana? But I don't believe Kazuma is the killer. That just can't be. It just can't be. I can't believe that. He's my best friend in the world. Have you seen this gash? Yes. We've heard this like 4 times now.
Got it!
This is your proof. What do you say to that, Prosecutor Azuki? Personally, I think tying the defense counsel to the inspector's trunk and tossing it into the sea would be more helpful. What? At least that way, London's courtrooms will be safe from his destructive accusations. I believe that was a rather long-winded way of telling you that you're wrong. What? Oops. Okay, Mr. Naruhodo. I was hoping never to let that happen, funnily enough. What? I've no idea. Open it. Let's open it. What am I supposed to do here? Do you see that? There's something stuck in the side of the trunk here. It's glinting. It looks like a fragment of metal, but it's wedged in so tightly I can't remove it. Well, don't cut yourself, you'd better leave it, I think. Okay, I need to present this one. Is that it? I really need to save.
Got it!
There's a small piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade. A blade. Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karuma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it here in this courtroom for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. You shut up! I don't believe for a second that Genshin is the killer. Was a killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Azuki like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh no! The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Azuki? What are you doing? Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you and well deserved. Why are you trying to hide the truth? This is not like you at all. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Azuki? Yes, on 31st of October I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? Why would you assassinate for the Reaper? What is happening? What? Is it because you believe that Reaper is like the ghost of the legacy of your father? Why would you do that? What? How stupid is that? I am so speechless. I mean, if I were Naruhodo, I would end the friendship right there. Honestly, what is happening? What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from this notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jigoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. Well, I mean, Jigoku is not dead, so that's true. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it? We can believe Kazuma-sama, I'm sure. Can we? Can we? Why did he even agree? Why did Gregson even ask him? Ask Kazuma, and why did he agree to go with Gregson? After all, Judge Jigoku arrived safely the following day. On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan. You went to Judge Jigoku's cabin? Exactly. He wasn't there though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life. So I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. Then why did you go with him in the first place? I spent that night at a boarding house in the town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house in Dunkirk? My signature would be in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Why did you go with him? Why did Gregson ask you in the first place? And what's with the gash in the trunk? In Gregson's trunk? This is unacceptable. There are so many open questions. This is unacceptable. This explanation is not acceptable. Then what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. What? Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger. What? Why are you flip-flopping with your accusations? Now it's a completely different accusation. What, now you're saying Gregson did not die on the SS or on the steamship, but now you're saying he came back and Lord Van Zieks killed him in Fresno Street. What is happening? Are you hearing yourself? And end his wretched agent life. I have no words. I can't believe this. That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing, as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. What? Of course you do! What? What? Why am I not objecting to any of this? This flip-flopping, this is very unprofessional. if I were a judge, I would really question his ability to prosecute people, honestly. The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. And accordingly, I choose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. Fine. Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence. As you wish, my lord. This is... I have no words. I have no words. Great Sword Karuma. We must take immediate action now. What do you mean by that? To verify whether Seishiro Jikoku remains unharmed. Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to adjudicate or something. The illustrious blade passed down through generations of the Azuki clan. I'm not sure if I can trust him anymore. And this is really bad for our friendship, I feel. Karuma, the great blade. It's such a thing of beauty, I want to gaze on it for hours. Well, I had enough time with it myself. There's nothing I can do but to inspect the tip, I suppose. The tip of the great sword, broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karuma's sobs. The sobs of his ancestors. Kazuma must have really taken a swing for that to happen. Why? Why? What? Remains unharmed? I agree, that should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jigoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from the inside of a prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zieks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you. Order! Order in court! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes. Now, guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within half an hour, we will have to assume the worst. Oh no, not Judge Jigoku. No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who'd only just arrived in the country. Also, Professor Mikotoba and Sholmes are missing. What's up with that? Except that is for the Reaper wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago. I would have to agree. Mr. Naruhodo, for the defense's sake. My lord? I sincerely hope we are successful. What do you mean for my sake? I am not affiliated with the Reaper? And it has not been determined that Barok... What? Barok is the Reaper. If we are unable to confirm Mr. Jigoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties. What do you mean by that? What does this have anything to do with me? Court is adjourned for 30 minutes. What? What is that supposed to mean?